Hello, and welcome to Vision Denial and World Watch 2022. My name is Sam, and if those of you who are new here, I have watched every single playoff of 2022. Yes, every single one of them, even that one. Notably, this particular series, we were covering the summer of 2022 on our anticipation and preparation for Worlds. And this, you have stumbled upon, or you are a regular subscriber and watcher, to the Meet the Teams portion, where I will take a look at every 24 team, their strengths, weaknesses, play styles, notable quirks, interesting things to look ahead, all in the attempts to at least teach some people who don't watch certain regions what to expect from their teams, or from the teams that are going. That said, there are two caveats to really put forward. First caveat: a lot of the things that I'm going to be talking about are data-driven. I will put a link down below to the Google Docs of all of the data I have aggregated all in one nice spot. All of the data comes from the LOL fandom, Wikipedia, and from the goal.gg website, both of which have very different focuses to their data points, and both are necessary for these kinds of videos to work. That said, there's a limitation to some of this data because the LPL doesn't send their data as consistently as the other regions, and this is something you'll find with any particular data point for LoL esports globally. The LPL will still be missing some things regarding plates, drakes at 15 minutes, and heralds. A lot of their early game is not there. That and everything relating to vision. Second thing that I have to point out, a lot of the emerging regions, specifically Oceania, Turkey, Brazil, Latin America, and Japan, their teams will have some inflated stats in their favor. That being in mind, when we're looking at their stats, a lot of them will look good, notably the Chiefs and Detonation Focus Me. So some of the stats for every team has to be taken with a grain of salt of either being maybe stronger than expected or weaker than expected by quite a bit, notably because of this kind of inflation of statistics. When you're studying data, this is the kind of adjustments you need to do. That said, team-based data will look skewed. Individual data for each player's less so, because of the kinds of data points that they keep track of. All of that to say is that a lot of the notes that I've taken are using data points that have been collected that you can all enjoy for free down below, or in the various websites that I mentioned, but taking into account a lot of the personal notes that I use in conjunction with this data to show you what to expect with these teams. Without further ado, let's take a look at this video's team. I don't know. This is a pre-recorded message. Let's take a look. Let's meet 100 Thieves. 100 Thieves is the 8th team to have qualified for the World Championship, and having done so in the second round of the LCS Summer Playoffs against Team Liquid 3-2. Let's take a look at their coaches here. First off, my personal favorite, Reaper, who has been with the team since April of 2021, just shy of the 2021 Summer Split, where they won their first North American title, and is mostly known for having gotten Edward Gaming and the LPL as overall the first Riot-sanctioned international title. We also have Freeze, who is the assistant coach who has been with 100 Thieves since November of 2020, and having been in the European Turkish scene for quite some time as a bot laner previously. Taking a look how these two have created a philosophy for this team, a lot of it can be surmised as teamwork makes the dream work. And notably because a lot of their statistics fall in the bottom half of the barrel. They're not a particularly fast team. They don't have like the strongest win rate overall. The goal differences at 15 minutes or per minute is fairly low. Their kills, their average like kill to death ratio is very low. But the notable thing that I noticed here was that they were very good at vision and setup. A lot of the particular proactive approaches that they have primarily worked around making sure they have control of an area and are working together to avoid any unnecessary fights where possible, which bites them in the butt sometimes because they spend so much time really working into the weeds of things for vision and then make some very awkward or straight up baffling macro decisions. Now, I mentioned vision so prolifically because outside of their average assist to kill ratio, which is fairly close across the board with all teams, they're still tied for first place with this, including being third place with wards cleared, right behind Gen G and Detonation Focus Me, who take first and second respectively. This is a team who understands vision play, how to set up vision play for any particular given setup that they need for their neutral objectives, and really plays towards that without taking into consideration how to approach the rest of the macro game at play. Let's take a look at our top laner. Meet Ssumday. His top 3 champions during the entire summer season, being Aatrox, Gnar, and Ornn, are all subject to the idea that his playstyle really lends into the idea of teamwork makes the dream work. They'll often put him on, or they'll sometimes put him on to champions that are, decent for split pushing, your Fioras, your Gwens, or for side lane pressure. But the really big bulk of how he does his work within this team is with his team fighting and his ability to participate with the team, especially in terms of neutral setups and vision setups. And you can really see that in terms of being third amongst top laners for kill participation, 6th in terms of kill shares and gold share overall. He very much is always participating with the team, and the team invests in him equally. His team fighting for them is necessary amongst the way that they succeed in a lot of these games. Meet the jungler of 100 Thieves. He's been with the organization since the 2021 season. Has been fairly consistent and known particularly for his clutch playmaking in moments of need. That said, his stats, however, tell a different story for the team. He tends to take a lower share of the gold and a lot of lower share of the kills, mostly participating in these fights as a sort of like utility for the team itself. And this becomes hugely acute when out of the 26 junglers going, accounting for the substitutes that were significant, he is 24th in gold per minute. He will regularly fall behind his counterparts. Much of his statistics show that he will fall far behind his counterparts, but he is still well known for the clutch factor in moments of need. So while his stats may show that he spends a lot of the time helping his team setting up at the detriment of his growth over time in a game, he will still find time to take any small amount of gold that he has, any small amount of experience, and turn that into something for his team. Meet the mid laner of 100 Thieves, Abbedagge. Abbedagge here has been a consistent mainstay for 100 Thieves, similarly since the 2021 season, coming in during the summer split where they won their first title, and I believe their only title in the LCS. Notably here, he was from Europe, part of the Schalke team, up until that time in summer of 2021. And for the most part, he's been a fairly team-centric player. He boasts the second highest kill participation, the third highest kill participation in the team, second highest kill share, second highest gold share, and then when you could compare him to his contemporaries, he has one of the worst number of champs played. Fairly inflexible in his play. He has the lowest, or one of the lowest KDAs, running him to 20th place, accounting for the irrelevant substitutes. And the more and more I keep looking at the stats of some of these players, it's clear the teamwork with them is there. And Abbedagge shows that in spades. But he also is giving up so much for the cause of his team. And while I don't have the same kind of faith that he'll hold the clutch factor like his jungler will closer, it just becomes a little bit worrisome when his stats don't back up some consistency that is relevant against his peers in his role. Meet the bot laner of 100 Thieves, FBI. North America's first import from Oceania, he's been part of the Thieves since season 2021. And he has been a large contributor to the success of 100 Thieves, holding the largest kill share, gold share, and the second most kill participation. Much of the efforts in terms of success for 100 Thieves is making sure that FBI is ahead when necessary. But looking at his contemporaries, we start to see a different story, holding the almost lowest, falling into 25th of the 26 bot laners accounting for relevant bot laners, falling last in terms of, or second to last in terms of the gold per minute, leaves you wondering how well are 100 Thieves actually inputting as the goal to him, and if he can even do as much. Given, however, that one of his most played is Senna, a very low gold econ champion, he seems to be doing quite a lot with the different tools that he has on hand. His consistency in terms of kill participation and kill share shows that 100 Thieves trust his ability to use the gold that he has effectively. Let's meet the bot laner of 100 Thieves, Huhi. The previous mid laner in North America, this French-Korean player has made lots of waves with his very interesting and unorthodox play method. However, it has shown large success. His large champion pool, as well as his high kill participation, not just within his team, but within every player that has qualified to go to Worlds, he has the second highest kill participation outside of Kellen from Damwon Kia. This is notable given the way that this team plays is primarily through teamwork makes the dream work and vision play. Huhi being such a large factor in both of those things gives precedence over his influence on the game. His success, more so than any other player for the team, is 100 Thieves' success. If there's ever a player to watch out for this team, Huhi would be the one. Overall, things to expect with 100 Thieves really center around their ability to play around neutral objectives and how they set up vision around that, as that's their strength as a team. A lot of their teamwork regarding that and being able to set up team fights around there is sometimes very impressive, but undercut by the way that they draft counter to their playstyle and that they tend to make macro decisions that harm them in the long run. Some of the more impressive stats that Huhi brings up is also fairly undercut by how underwhelming the rest of the team tends to perform. Between Huhi and Ssumday, there will be a lot of uplifting that's needed for the rest of their teammates to actually perform at a level that could keep up against their opponents. Hopefully these North American second seeded upstarts could possibly make it out of group stage. I don't have very much confidence in that to be the case, as looking at their lineup, they're up against the most terrifying team and against CFO, who many people are probably going to sleep on, and if things go as planned during the play-in stage, will have to face Royal Never Give Up. The chances of them getting out of groups would require a large overhaul and expectations that their players, outside of Huhi and Ssumday, overperform based on the statistics that we see from them. But given how closer is usually very clutch and FBI is very efficient with the gold use, there is a nugget of possibility there. You guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think their matchups are going to be very likely good? Or do you think they're going to make it out of groups? Or do you think it's doomed from the start? I'd love to hear your comments down below. And if you like this kind of content, take a look at the other videos that I've done for the other teams, or any of the other World Watch stuff that I've done previously when going through all of the playoffs. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day.